What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. I'm going to talk about some big reactions to FOMC and why we're getting a delayed rally so far. And some very important levels to watch for in Tesla that could lead to this thing trying to break out if we break particular levels. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY, and the offer is just about 11 days. So anyways, for Tesla, I just want to show you guys the daily chart. You guys can see how we had this red bar and why there was a risk of some downside after FOMC. But instead of this technical setup playing out, Tesla has been launching back up to the resistance at 235 during the pre-market. So the whole market's actually starting to push. But just so you guys know, for the reason why things looked kind of weak yesterday with Jerome Powell's speech, SPY got this big rejection. You could easily think that this would have been dipping, but instead we're trying to gap up during the pre-market, so we're trying to push up very, very nicely. Same thing with the QQQ. We had bearish signals yesterday only to get them invalidated as we're trying to push back up. So the market's getting bought back up very, very nicely. If I pull up the 4-hour time frame, you could see that we are getting bought back up. We're trying to push back up, and there is potential in the QQQ to continue this rally if we do break some levels. Same thing with Tesla. It's going to depend on 235. If Tesla could break that, I think we're going to be squeezed into the 245 area. If we don't break 235, there could be rejection back down, and we have that gap to fill at 230. So I'll be watching it very carefully during this big test. SPY as well has more upside potential, but just know we're at all-time highs. Despite the bearish divergence that's continuing to develop, we're still at all-time highs. We're still trying to push, so we have to give this some time. Anyways, that's it for my kind of like intro of the video. I just want to focus on some data first before I talk into more details about the charts. So today is Thursday, September 19th, 2024. Just notes that 1 hour before the market is opened, we just got some data. So we have initial jobless claims, which is below expectations. That's a sign of some strength in the labor market. And then employment is so-so. Everything else is decent. For other factors out there, we have existing home sales coming out, and then we just have a couple of bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. today. But everything else is very, very minor. Now, as far as Tesla goes, Tesla's leading the EV domination in Norway. That's a good piece of news for them. Norway has over 700,000 electric cars, and it's very, very important to note that for this year so far, Tesla has actually sold about 13,000. So not bad whatsoever. A large percentage of Norway's EV sales are by Tesla. It's continuing to dominate. That's a good piece of news. There are analysts out there who have $295 price targets on Tesla, the $300 price target we're talking about. And they're basically talking about how the different factors out there, such as the robotaxi event, could be a big winner for them. And many analysts are still very bullish as a result of that. So we saw a lot of Deutsche Bank analysts out there who are very bullish. They think that Tesla has a nice dip buying opportunity, and they have a $295 price target on Tesla, which is a good piece of news. The Tesla Semi is also partnering with PepsiCo, and there's a lot of talk about how they're improving driver retention. They're leading to a lot of useful benefits. I think it's very cool. There's been a lot of talk about how their deliveries are very efficient, and as time goes on, they can handle lighter loads over regional routes. But what's useful about them is they've been deployed in different cities such as like Modesto, Sacramento, and Fresno. Those are cities in California. And they've got a lot of positive remarks because of the fact that they are improving driver retention. They're very, very smooth, and they got a lot of really, really good reviews. So I think it's a good piece of news, at least for Tesla. So the last thing I want to talk about is what's happening right now with the overall market. It's been a roller coaster. So Jerome Powell gave his speech. The Fed has done the 50 basis point cut. And what's interesting is the market basically pumped and then it dumped after Jerome Powell's speech, but they only dumped it because they were getting ready for another rally. So now we're going to be looking at some key levels. So as far as Tesla goes, we're actually still at that resistance. We haven't really broken through that quite yet. Tesla has 235 as key resistance. If we could break this, we easily go up to the 240 area. If we manage to close above 235 or hold above it. If we don't, we're looking for support at 232. If that fails us, we're coming down to fill the gap all the way back down to 229. So if we lose 232, we're going to turn down. So be a little bit careful with Tesla. As long as we hold above 232, we could consolidate. And if we break 235, we remain bullish. So Tesla is going to try to push. It looks bullish on the 4-hour, but 235 is a very stubborn level. So I think we might shuffle up here. We'll see if Tesla breaks this or not. It's going to be a very, very big test. So give this the time it needs. For SPY, We have this 570 resistance. We'll see if we hold above 570 or not. We are at a very, very tough area. If we break and hold above 570, we're basically looking for 572 as our next potential target. We'll see if that ends up being the case or not. I think that if 570 fails this, SPY could retrace back down to support around the 568 area. If we break 572, we're looking for, if we break 570, we're looking for 572 as our next resistance. If we reject on 570, we're going back down to 568. We'll have to see which way SPY goes. As of right now, it's getting bought back up. It's holding up very nicely. It looks like it wants to rally a little bit more, but watch and see. Do we end up losing, the key support at 568? If that does happen, we could come down to fill the gap at 565. Or do we continue to hold above 570, start pushing up to at least 572 to 575? I'll be watching these levels. It looks like it wants to push a little bit higher, but watch your levels just to be safe. As far as ES goes, we're pushing very nicely, but there's some tough resistance up here. We have this level to watch for right about here. So the first area was we managed to break this resistance around 5740. With that breaking, our next target was about the 5750 area. And our main resistance is all the way up here around 5780. So if we reject off 5780, we're going to return back down to about, I would say, the 5750 area. And if that fails us, we're going to be dipping lower. And if we break this resistance up here, we're going all the way up to about 5800 in my opinion. If the 5780 area breaks, we're going up to 5800. So we'll see which way ES goes from here. For others out there, such as Nvda, we pushed very nicely to this 118 area. One could argue that we had like an inverse head and shoulders like structure. This could be a flag forming on Nvidia, which could lead to more upside, but we need to break and hold above 118. If we hold above that, there's going to be potential, but I see the potential of a flag. So we could be forming this. This could be an interesting setup. This could be like a breakout that's attempting to come, and we'll see if this continues. So if Nvidia ends up dipping, you're going to be looking at our key supports at this 114 area. If that fails us, if 116 fails us, excuse me, we're going to be coming down to about 114 to fill the gap. If we break 118, we remain bullish. Otherwise, we're just range bound. So we'll see if we could break 118 and start pushing on Nvidia or not. So give this the time it needs and be very, very open-minded nonetheless. For NQ, in my opinion, NQ is in a very interesting place. Just like the QQQ, this is pumping all the way up to 20,000. So this is once again approaching the inverse head and shoulders very nicely. If we break 20,000, I think we easily go up to about 20,200. That's going to be our next target. And if we don't hold above 20,000, we could be dipping back down to essentially 19,800. So I think that we look more bullish at this 20,000 area. We could try to push it a little bit higher, and we'll see if we try to break out to 20,200 or not. So give this the time it needs, but it looks more bullish for now. The QQQ looks more bullish. If we hold above 480, as long as we hold above 480, this could try to push up for 485. That's where we have that imbalance to fill. And if we lose 480, I'm going to be looking for basically 478. If that fails us, we come down to fill the gap to 475. So lose 478, we turn bearish. Hold above 480, we will favor upside. Watch your levels carefully. As of right now, it wants to push, and it could try to go up to about 485, and then we'll see how it goes from there. For Apple, we're trying to push back up. We got a nice little bounce. So it depends if we can try to hold above this support. I mentioned in my video yesterday that we had two important levels. If we got back up above 224, we favor upside. And if we ended up losing support, we would be dipping. In my opinion, we had this resistance right here at this trend line. We could have rejected here and started dipping, but we managed to break through this. So we're going to be looking to see if we hold above 224. This is where this resistance was, which is now support. If we hold above this, we're going up to 226. If we lose this, we dip back down to fill the gap at 222. But this looks more bullish in my opinion. For the IWM, we could be looking for more upside. We're looking for 226 as our resistance. If we break that, we're going up for 227.5. And if we end up losing 225, we're looking for that dip back down to 221 to fill the gap. We're in the middle, kind of shuffling right now, but this has potential since it is gapping up. So we'll see if we could try to hold above 225 or not. For a few more, we have Coinbase. Coinbase is once again holding up very nicely. If we hold above 170, we're looking for a big rally back up to this imbalance, at least 174. And if we end up losing 164, we turn back down. This could dip a little bit, but we'll see if we bounce off 167 and start pushing up higher for the 174 area. So there's potential in it. For Amazon, we look more bullish, looking at 190 is our target. If 190 breaks, we're looking for basically 191.4. And above that, we have this gap to fill, taking us up to about 193. So watch 190. If we hold above that, we're going to 191.4, followed by 193. If we lose 189, we dip back down to fill this gap. We look like we want to push higher, technically speaking. It looks like it's now trying to turn bullish. We'll see if we break 190 or not, though. That's going to be key for Amazon. Will Meta hold above this? I even said yesterday Meta was still looking bullish. We've broken out of this resistance zone. We've broken past all these different levels. We're actually up pretty nicely in the after hours or the pre-market. So we're looking at 550 is our resistance. If we hold above that, I think my next target is going to be around this 550, 555 area. And then if we reject here, if we don't hold 550, we're looking for support at 546. If that fails us, we come down to fill the gap. So and it still has potential. Looking at others out there, such as Microsoft, we are remaining more bullish. I just want to say that out of all the tickers out there, we're doing a relatively good job at attempting to hold. So we'll give this all the time it needs, and we'll see how things develop. With that being said, guys, for the way the market's developing, it's very, very tricky because they caused the market to essentially dip yesterday only to buy things back up. So I'll be watching to see how well these levels hold. I want to thank you all so much for listening. Please have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one in about just a couple of hours for another update. All right, so for now, the market's pushing up. We'll see if we could break resistance on Tesla or not, and we'll give the market all the time it needs. With that being said, have a great day, and peace out.